Hello, hello. Welcome to the Raising Lifelong Learners Facebook Live on Monday. Gosh, what is it? November 27th. Sorry, it's a little bit late. Usually we try to start around 3, but today we are a little bit late, but a half an hour late. Let me know if you can. Thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. I'm not very good with the camera angle, or a smiley face. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, I have a new mic, and I'm hoping that this one works really well. So I'm hoping that it's picking me up and you can hear me. So let me know, because it is the first time I have tried this mic up. All right, we have some people joining. I hope you guys all had a great Thanksgiving. Let me know, where are you? Who's here? Where are you watching from? How was your Thanksgiving? Let me know who's here. Hi, Josie. So you can hear me. Good, I'm glad. We're going to hang out for a minute or two, let everybody join us. I'm drinking some more coffee, afternoon coffee again. It seems to be my MO lately, right? Messy ponytails, t-shirt, little makeup, and an afternoon pot of coffee on Mondays. It's pretty much how we roll around here right now. Hi, Becky. I want to show off my mug. Look at this. My friend Cheryl bought this for me. I can definitely tell you it is the caffeine. I love this mug. So Cheryl, if you're watching, thank you. Or if you're watching this later. Love it. So how was your Thanksgiving? Did you guys have a good Thanksgiving? The holidays can be pretty rough. We had a pretty low-key Thanksgiving here. Actually, Becky, that's a good question. We're going to kind of talk about both, just for that very reason. We had a pretty low-key Thanksgiving. It was actually exactly what the doctor ordered. If you hang out around here often, you'll remember that we were sick the last 2 weeks. I canceled the last 2 Facebook Lives on Mondays because we just really, really weren't feeling well. Hi, Christy. I still have a little bit of a cough. My 8-year-old Logan was sick for 2 straight weeks, and she went up and down. It was like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So I think that she was over it, and we'd go to a co-op class or something, and then the next day she would be just on the couch again. And then last week it hit me, and I was so tired. I called my husband actually on Monday morning and asked him to cancel my daughter's occupational therapy and physical therapy appointment for me, and I rolled back over and went back to sleep after putting Netflix on for the kids. It was just too much, and I was overexhausted. And then Tuesday I took a nap again, which is very rare for me. So I took a 3-hour nap in the middle of the day on Tuesday. But I cooked dinner for Thanksgiving on Thursday, and we usually have my father-in-law and sister-in-law over. And then we were going to have a friend over this year, and none of them were feeling well. So it just ended up being the 6 of us, which was really nice. The 4 kids and my husband and I had a big turkey we get a poultry share at a local farm every year during the summer. So we got a couple, what do we get? 5 whole chickens a month and eggs. And then at Thanksgiving, we get our turkey. So we had our pasture raised turkey and lots of fixings. My 4-year-old kept calling it a feast. And we just enjoyed each other. We ate, and then we had leftovers and pie and board games and Christmas movies. It was a great day. And we needed that. We needed to recharge and just not have to go anywhere. It was just what the doctor ordered. So Becky, you had a low-key one too. Yeah, sometimes we just need that, right? And so Becky asked the question, are we going to talk about our anxiety or our kids' anxiety today? And we're going to talk a little bit about both, actually, because if there is one thing that I have learned in this whole homeschooling and parenting gifted and intense children, is that there's a lot of self-discovery involved in parenting those kids. And apples don't necessarily fall very far from trees. And so, hi, Melissa. And so if your kiddo is struggling with anxiety or is intense or has sensory processing challenges or hyperactivity or impulsivity, chances are you or your spouse probably do too, to some degree. And it may be diagnosed, it may not be, but but that can tend to, spiral the whole family a little bit. And so we'll talk a little bit about both of that. Let me make sure my angle's good here. The holidays have always been, historically stressful for us. And so we did a couple of things, and I'll backtrack. So I'll go back to that, and then we can talk some more. Hi. Remember real life? My son is getting Nerf guns in the basement where I am.
Can I say hi?
You can say hi, sure. My mic is right here.
Oh, hello.
Hi,
I'm Trevor. You remember me, right? Bye.
Okay, careful of the cords. Be careful. Be respectful. Okay. So his birthday was Saturday, and I'll digress for a minute. His birthday, he turned 15 on Saturday, so he has a whole bunch of new Nerf guns because that was mainly what he asked for. And I figure if he wants to be a kid for longer, we're going to let him. So I pretty much got him all of the Nerf guns that he wanted. So he is now the star of the neighborhood. And so all of the little kids, the little 8, 9, and 10-year-old boys outside are knocking on the door the second they get home from school because they want to play with Trevor and all his new Nerf guns. Primarily because a couple of them are those like ones with the hard balls, which are labeled 14 and up, and their parents haven't let them get them yet. So he's very cool right now with those. So he's got a pop-up deer target that he's been shooting at in the backyard. So they all think he's super cool. And so they want to play with him. So anyway, I digress. Yeah. So Becky was saying that Christmas time is stressful for her. And we kind of tended to run stress at the premium from about mid-November through the first week of January around here, because we have birthday after birthday after birthday after birthday. We have for our family and as well as some very close family friends. So there's always something going on. We have Advent, prepping for the holidays. We have Thanksgiving, a couple more birthdays thrown in there. My husband and I were married on December 20th, and so our anniversary is in there. I'm hoping, keep your fingers crossed, that we can get away for a night or something this year because it's our 20th. But so far in 20 years, actually in 15 years since we started having kids, we haven't been able to do that. So we'll see. It's a pipe dream here. So we've got that. And then it all finishes off January 2nd with our youngest's birthday. And then we can breathe again. So it gets very stressful going from one thing to another, spending a ton of money because as much as I want to plan, I don't always get everything, pre-bought. And so we get a crunch this time of year when we're buying for all these birthdays and Christmas. And then we have challenging kids. I'm sure that's why you're hanging out at this page too. And so sometimes the kids make it challenging when you're in a group. And so, birthday parties and Thanksgiving dinners and Christmas Eve and all of the hoopla that goes around with it. It just gets the anticipation. My kids, they spike anticipation wise. We put up Christmas decorations yesterday, really because I wanted them. Twinkle lights make me happy. Last year, I actually kept them up till March or April when the last strand finally had bulbs that died. And I am seriously considering just leaving the ones that I put up on the walls up all year because they make me happy. And I like to sit in the light of the twinkle lights and read my book and drink tea in the evening. And so I'm trying to grab on to more things that, make me happy and ease my stress. So because I'm finding that the older my kids get and the more activities they're involved in, the higher my anxiety levels have been. And so to Becky's first question about if we're going to talk about our anxiety levels or our kids, I think it does us a disservice to not talk about both. Because again, chances are one of us, whether it's you or your spouse, pass down some of that anxiety or those intense understandings and feelings and views of the world. So you're probably feeling those simultaneously, and they feed off of each other, right? Your kid's anxiety spikes, your anxiety spikes, and it just keeps going in this vicious cycle. And then you're so anxious and geared up and hyped up and, deep into the fight or flight that you can't even respond, which then sets them off further. Oh, Josie, twinkle lights all year round. See, I'm not the only one. I think I'm going to do it. Oh, yeah. See, so Catherine, we're not the only ones. My kids strung twinkle lights on their bunk beds yesterday, and I think we're going to leave those up too. Oh, that's hilarious, Becky. So mine does too. And so, but then if I don't do it, if I don't get the Christmas tree up, it won't get up. So, so I've just in the last year, actually the last couple years, I put away. I'm sorry, this is bugging me. My messy pony is getting messier, and see, it's like all off on one side. Again, real mama life here. It would bother me having just not it being perfect and right. And so what I did was I put away the ornaments I truly, truly cherish and don't want broken. And then all the other ones are like the kid ones or the handmade ones. And I just let them go right to it. They do the decorating. I put up the lights, or actually my husband puts up the lights, and then I do the strings around the house. And we just go minimalist lately, the last couple of years, just to get something up, because like I said, it makes me happy. So yeah, high emotions. So what do we do about it? Like, it's really hard. It's hard when you struggle with anxiety too, or you struggle with heightened emotions. So I'm sorry, I feel like I'm itching and scratching and preening. I'm not preening like a cat or my rabbit licking, Anyway, I digress. Maybe I do need more coffee. I don't know. Maybe, why do you guys listen to me? Is it because I'm so real that it's ridiculous? Okay, so anxiety. Years ago, I was so worked up about getting to the holiday parties and making sure that we were meeting everybody's needs, that I was forgetting about mine, and I was really forgetting about my kids. And then I would be snappy and snippish all the time, and everybody was on high alert, and we would get there. We would be fighting to get in the car. We'd be fighting to get out of the house. We'd be like snipping at each other and hurling accusations in the car. And then we'd get to the party and we'd like turn it all on, brighten our faces and our smiles, and pretend like nothing happened. And it was like, what are we doing? And then the kids would, they were all edgy and they didn't know how to just turn it on for their family and friends. So it would take them a while to shake off the funk, and then they'd be accused of being in a bad mood or whatever, or they would get in trouble, or they would like get in a tough tussle with each other. And it was like, we're not even doing anything remotely to enjoying the season at this point. And so it was just way, way too much. So we cut back. Now, there were other extenuating circumstances. We have some challenges with our family, and it just became more about showing up because it was expected than showing up because it was truly enhancing our family experience for the holidays. So we stopped. We just stopped going. We stopped going to Christmas. We stopped going to Thanksgiving, and we cooked ourselves. My husband's family had historically always done Christmas Eve, but they started realizing the same thing, that it was just too much. There's 4 immediate family members on his dad's side. His mom passed away a long time ago, and we don't get to see them that side very often. But his dad's side's he's one of 4. His dad's one of 4, and there are 13 cousins, all of whom, save 2, have at least 2 kids. Many of them, like us, have 3 or 4. And so it was a lot of people. And Christmas Eve just got to be too much because all of those extended families needed to see their extended families too. And so we moved that party to the week before Christmas. And it's been great because we can go to that. And then we know we have time before Christmas really hits. And so they look forward to seeing, their family then. And then my husband's cousin has like an open house, just drop in on Christmas Eve, and we drop in and we leave when we're tired or when the kids are done. We go home and we go to sleep and wake up to presents. And we don't go anywhere on Christmas Day, and we don't go anywhere on Thanksgiving Day. And we make a big turkey. We make a big ham on Christmas. And if anyone wants to stop by, any of you guys in town, you want to stop by, come on over. We play games, we watch movies, we drink hot chocolate, we stay in our PJs for a long time. Sometimes it takes the kids all day to open their presents. Sometimes they rip through them all at once and then just play. And it's really, really eased a lot of the stress and anxiety. Not all of it, because it's part of who we are. But it's eased a lot of it because we can always step back. So that's really helped a lot. Dan, I'm going to read this later. Oh, I'm going to respond to you later. Yeah, okay, so that's one of the things. So Becky and I are having a conversation today. I love it. We do, one of the things we do to help ease kind of all of that stress and stuff is we try to turn the focus back to just being kind and being thoughtful of other people and thinking about the season itself and what the season is all about. And so, gosh, now it was about 4 years ago, maybe 3. Yeah, because I think I was pregnant with Isaac, he's 4, so he turns 5. Maybe he was baby. I don't remember. But we started doing acts of kindness during Advent. We tried to do at least one act of kindness every day, random act of kindness. I have a couple posts on my site about random acts of kindness. A couple of them severely need updating, but they're there. And we would challenge each other and ourselves. We got like a plastic shoebox together, and we threw in little cards. In fact, I think they're as a printable on my site from years ago. So again, years ago. They're ugly, clunky, but actually they're not that ugly. They're cute. And we still use them, but they're there. And so what we do is we print off a bunch of them on cardstock. And it says something like, we just want to let you know that you're loved during this season and always. And that's all it says. It doesn't have our name or anything. And then, so in the shoebox, we put those cards, we put tape, we put scissors, we put a bunch of candy canes, and then a bunch of quarters, a bunch of singles, and then whatever else we have. So sometimes we'll go and I'll buy a bunch of like $5 Starbucks gift cards, whatever. I just put a bunch of stuff in the shoebox and it stays in the van. And if we're going into Walmart or whatever, each kid will take a candy cane and we'll tape one of those cards to it. And I'll challenge them to find somebody who needs a smile. And they'll go give their candy cane to someone. And it's a lot of fun. We'll put carts back if they're out. We'll buy, for the person behind us in the Starbucks line. Just trying to get the kids involved in it so they can see. And the key is, again, not to make a big deal out of it, not to share. For a while, I tried to do it as like an Instagram challenge, tagging Raising Kind Kids. But then, I started not doing it, not sharing, because I don't know, it felt like then it was more about us and less about bringing a smile to somebody who needed it. A funny story. Actually, it wasn't a funny story. It was a really great a great story. Molly was 7 or 8 at the time. And she had her candy cane and she hadn't given it away. Trevor had his too, and he didn't want to give it away. He was at that quirky kind of stage where, he felt too cool and wasn't sure about himself. And so we were at the checkout line at Walmart, and there was this very large, very gruff looking, older, older than I thought, should be working at the, the checkout counter at Walmart. I felt terrible for her. And she just didn't look like she was happy at all. She was, she had kind of a weathered face, and she just looked down. And Molly whispers to me, "I think she needs a smile, but I'm scared, Mom," because she was a scary woman. She was formidable. And I said, if you're not comfortable, it's fine. But if you feel that way, then just hand her your candy cane. And so we get our stuff and we're walking away, and she's like, I'll be right back. And Molly ran back over there, and she handed this lady, oh my gosh, I'm getting choked up. She handed this lady this candy cane, and the lady read it. And like her whole face changed before our eyes. Like her face split into this like just old weathered smile, and she showed these bright white teeth, and she just reached down and she just hugged Molly so hard. And it was beautiful. And Trevor watched that, and he's like, I need to find somebody. Like seeing that impact of the simple thing of handing someone a candy cane meant a lot. They still talk about that. Clearly I do too, because it was definitely a moment for all of us. How like small gestures can really make a big difference. So we try to do that still during Advent, to help ease that stress and anxiety over the holiday, because it refocuses us about, turns us back to, this isn't about what we do and don't get, or where we have to be, or how we look. This is about just, spreading love and happiness, and whether that's to our own family or a perfect stranger in the Walmart checkout line, it doesn't matter. So that's something we do. And actually this year, for years and years and years, my kids got those Lego Advent calendars. And first of all, it's just outrageously expensive, especially when you have 4 kids. And then second of all, they lose those pieces. They tear into it in the morning, they put their little teeny tiny model together, and like they're playing with them all day. And I find little Lego pieces all over the place, and they end up losing them before they've really even played with them. So this year, when I was a kid, we had like a felt strip with a bell at the top and all these little yarn ties, and on each tie was a piece of candy. And we knew, we could have candy for breakfast because we could get up in the morning, and like that was our countdown calendar for Christmas. And so we would untie our little peppermint candy and eat it. And it was great. We were so excited because we had this piece of candy first thing in the morning. The silly little things that people love. Hi, Anne. And so the kids were telling me which Advent calendars they wanted this year. And I said, you know what? First of all, we didn't get one last year. We got chocolate last year. I'm sorry, my eye itches. And so they were telling me this again. And I said, we didn't get anything last year. We had Trader Joe's chocolate Advent calendars. This year we're going to make our own. And so we're going to go to the store, and we're going to get like a long, like felt kind of ribbon, and we're going to make them. I bought a big bulk bag. I'll have to drop it in the link, or drop a link later. It's a big bulk bag of organic hard candies, and they're really good. I snuck a couple today. They're really good, really flavorful, and they're organic, and no artificial colors and stuff. So the kids get a treat, and I feel good about it. But it's this huge, like 4.5 pound bag or something like that. Tons and tons of these little teeny candies. And they saw them and they're super excited. So we're going to make those calendars this week, or chains this week. And we're going to, have these candy and talk about what kindness we're going to spread that day, and go from there. So that's one of the things we're doing to ease all of the stress and anticipation about it. It's not a be all end all. But I would say to those of you like me who struggle with anxiety around this time of year, and then have anxious kids on top of it, for whom it causes this spiral downward, find what makes you happy first. There's that saying about putting on your own oxygen mask first. If you're not enjoying the season, your kids aren't going to be enjoying the season. If you're anxious about it, if you're stressed about it, they're going to be stressed about it. They're going to be anxious about it. So put on your oxygen mask. Light a few candles, put up twinkle lights. My friend Kara at Kara S. Anderson, and my friend Pam Barnhill, they have a webinar. Oh gosh, I'm going to have to look up the link and drop it in. It's called Marry Me, MERRY, Marry Me. And it's all about self-care. I think it's Monday. But you can sign up. It's a free webinar. And Kara just wrote a good post today on her site about taking care of yourself. And then Kara and my friend Kate have a podcast, Homeschool Sisters podcast, and they post their last podcast was all about finding ways to give yourself coziness and comfort. Suze, that's a great idea. Putting good deeds in the box. That sounds like a lot of fun. Good Advent tradition. But find ways, put on your oxygen mask. If it is a special tea you like, if it's getting up before the kids and having a cup of coffee alone, if it's getting up later than the kids, putting on Netflix and catching, oh, okay, so we are in the dark now. Real life. The breaker just blew. Hang on one second. You guys can all still hear me because the computer battery is on. Hang on, I'm going to yell it to my husband. Hey, Brian, can you come flip the breaker? I had the heater on in here too, so I'm still live. Okay, we're in the dark. I need to unplug the heater because that's what in the basement and it gets really cold. Okay, real life. Okay. I think it was the heater. Okay, here we go. Hopefully he can get the breaker going. See, Becky, you said that you like the real life and you're getting it. Okay, so you can still see me. You can still hear me. I took my power cord out of my computer, so if the power goes back on, it won't surge. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Okay, so you can still see me. I'm going to get really close. Did you? My husband's trying to figure it out for me. Hi, Kim. Because it's real, right? Okay, so put on your oxygen mask, right? Get up, sleep in, put on Netflix, and take another hour of sleep if you need to. Get up earlier and have a cup of coffee without kids around if you need to. Yes, so that's what it was. Jennifer, I think, and do you go by Jen or Jennifer? Because you're always here, and I want to make sure I get the right name. I have a little heater that looks like a fireplace. It's down here in the basement. Do you see secret? Because it's lighter on the other side. Okay, ready? There's my unfinished basement. Okay, so the bookshelf, the corner that I'm in, is the nicest corner in this basement. And so this is why I'm downstairs, because it's a nice, here, this is my organized space of books and things. And I live in a small house. There's 790 square feet, so there's not very many places to go. All right, so threw me off. Is it not working? Okay, I turned everything off, so just let me know when you think you got it. I left one light on. Thank you. I appreciate you. Okay. Yes, Suze, darkness. Darkness with twinkle lights. I just don't have the twinkle lights right now. So, no, it's not. It didn't come on. These lights didn't come on. Do I have to turn off the power strip and turn it back on? The plug's messed up? Okay. Awesome. Okay. So my computer is still working, so we'll just finish this live in the dark. Thank you. So I not only tripped a breaker, I think I ruined the plug. Okay, so yeah, we live in 790 square feet, a small little bungalow, unfinished basement, unfinished attic that we're working. We're gonna finish up hopefully this year for another bedroom. And then once that's finished, there's going to be this little nook upstairs. You can't really do anything with because it's not big enough for a bedroom. It's kind of big enough for a closet, but we don't really need another closet. So we're going to fit like a small desk in there. And it's already been rewired with new wiring, but I'm in the basement with the old wiring. So we've got like extension cord on top of extension cord on top of extension cord. So yeah, it's not really the best setup. So we'll finish in the dark and then we'll wrap it up. All right. So the breaker is not just tripped. Something's wrong with the plug. So we're not going to be able to we're not going to be able to fix it. So I would suggest put on your oxygen mask, find out what makes you tick, whether that is sleeping in a little bit, taking a nap in the day, not going anywhere, canceling outside obligations, or going places, going to see the Christmas lights, going to feed the chickadees. We have a Metro Park in our area that you can feed the chickadees. They come and they eat right out of your hand. Going for a winter walk, doing something different. We kind of fun school during this season. We do our kindness stuff. We're making crafts. We do unit studies. We read a lot of books. We listen to a lot of audiobooks. We have hot chocolate every morning together. Lots and lots and lots of stuff. So if you struggle with anxiety or a lot of stress and that trickles down to your kids, take care of yourself first. Figure out what it is that is going to make you happy. I'm going to see if maybe is that going to, that kind of makes it worse. Just washes me out, huh? It doesn't actually help. See it? Look here. We'll shine the light down on me. My flashlight. Okay, we'll just forget about that. We'll just be in the dark. We'll just chat together in the dark. So do what's going to make you happy, so then your kids can buy into. So it is twinkle lights for me. It's coffee. It's a second pot of coffee in the afternoon. It's baking cookies or having a treat, something warm. Reading books, cozying up on the couch, watching movies. We watch a lot more documentaries this time of year. We watch a lot more movies this time of year. We do crafts this time of year. We do all sorts of things like that, which then helps with the kids' anxiety. And then if you have to go somewhere that you know your kids are going to struggle with, family gathering, extended family party, a friend's party, neighborhood party, breakfast with Santa, whatever, have talk ahead of time. Prep yourself, prep your kids. My daughter is in a show choir, and she performed at a tree festival on Friday. And we knew we were going to walk around the tree festival. We knew there were going to be lots and lots of people there. And my oldest struggles in crowds. But sometimes you have to go support family. And, we support each other. And so he had to come. And so we talked about it. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling stressed, if you're like you're going to be 15, you can let us know. And when we first get there, we'll designate a place that you can kind of go meet us. And so he took advantage of that a couple times. And then he doesn't have a phone right now because he doesn't really need it, nor does he want it. He doesn't want social media. And some things he's got a pretty sharp head on his shoulders. So he's got a watch. It's called a Gizmo that is from Verizon. And it's a phone. It's a watch phone that's also like a GPS locator, and it's got some pre-programmed texts in. So he texted us or left a voice clip that he was coming back one of the times, and then one of the other times he said, "I'm just going to stay here till you're done." So so that was good, and that worked because we talked ahead of time about what to expect and what to do if we were overwhelmed. I mentioned, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when we last talked about anxiety, that I used to be one of those moms who, well, first of all, I was a much better parent before I had kids. I don't know about any of you guys, but I certainly was. And then especially having the kids that I had to let go on some of my ideals. I swore up and down my kids would not be bringing tablets or phones or video games, Nintendos, whatever, anywhere we went, because it's rude. And it is rude. And I still maintain that it's rude. But it's a lot ruder to melt down in somebody's living room and destroy a party than it is to excuse yourself and go to a quiet room and pull up a documentary or a video or a game that's going to calm you down and let you recharge. So we bring now the kids have Kindles, but we used to bring my son's DS with us, and I kept it in a bag. They didn't bring their own. They didn't have access to it. But I brought a bag that had like some fidgets. It had some one-person logic games. It had books to read, coloring books to color in, and technology. And they know that if they need a break from the crowd, they can ask me for that, and I'll walk with them to the room, usually the room where the coats are being, held, and they'll retreat to a corner and they'll play quietly, or they'll read, or hook up to their video game. During Amazon Prime Day, the Amazon Kindle Fire 7s were $39. I posted earlier today that they're $29 today. So the link's on my Facebook page somewhere. And it's a referral link, so I get 6%, 4%. No, it's down to 4%, I think, percent commission. But I'd love it if you're going to buy anything with Amazon or you want to go look at the Kindles to click through that. If not, just go look at the Kindles today if you're interested in those because they're $29. So we bought the kids when they were 39. We bought them Kindle Fires and put on parental controls. And now my kids use them. They use them for their math program. We're trying out CTC math for, I'm reviewing it, and I'll have a review in January. I think I'm liking it for my younger three. And then we also use SmartTick. It's smartickmethod.com or .org. And they like that too. So they do their math on their Kindles now, and then they get a little bit of free time when they're done with their math. And we subscribe to Kindle Free Time. We also subscribe to Kindle Unlimited for books because my daughter reads books faster than I can buy them. So she has access to a huge library of young adult books, whatever books. And then also on their Kindle Free Time apps, they have access to kids' books and then kids' apps. And so we bring those and we bring headphones. And if my two with anxiety need to retreat, then they can do that. So you need to find what kinds of tools help your kids relax. One of my kids has sensory processing disorder, and she responds really well to brushing. So there's therapeutic brushing. So we bring a brush and we'll take her into a room and we'll brush her if we need to, or we'll do, we'll do exercises or yoga poses because those center her sometimes. So figure out what kinds of things, work with your kids and then do that and be okay with it. I think that out of all of this, it's really important that you are okay with, number one, who you are, and number two, who your kids are. They are perfect exactly how they are. There's rough edges for us to help them smooth out, but you know what? There's always going to be rough edges. I have rough edges. I need smoothed out. And so we have to be okay with who we are and know that if we need to cut back and not go to a holiday gathering, it's okay. It is totally okay, because chances are everybody who's upset or misses you or is laying in the guilt trip, they'll forget all about it. And it'll be like it never happened next year when you go. It's really okay to do what's right for your family immediately and know that you'll get back to some of that later because it's a season. It's a season. We go through cycles. My 15-year-old is much better in groups than he was 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even 2 years ago. So we just have to keep on going harder, going and pushing through and remembering that it's okay that it's hard, and we just need to do what's right for our family. I think I'm going to cut this off because I don't know. It's gotten quiet, and I don't know if it's distracting to not be able to see me and be in the dark like this. And I'll try to have a better solution for this week. But I do want to say a couple things real quick. I think that come the beginning of January, we're going to move the Facebook Lives to Tuesday for a couple of reasons. Mondays, when I first started them, were going to be great. But we have since added physical therapy to my daughter's occupational therapy schedule and moved it off of Tuesdays to Mondays because that's when the physical therapist was available. So for 3 hours every morning, I'm gone. It takes a half an hour to get there. We're there for 2 hours and then a half an hour to get home. And then it's lunchtime and then we've got other to be great, and it's been kind of complicated the last couple of weeks. So I think we're going to move it to Tuesdays also because some of you I know have heard me talk about this. I'm the guest host for my friend Pam Barnhill's Homeschool Snapshots podcast this season. I just finished, tomorrow, the final episode that I'm guest hosting will be released. It's with Amy Milsick, a good friend and the founder of the Rock Your Homeschool blog and Facebook group. It was a great conversation about managing kids who are in travel sports while homeschooling. So check that out tomorrow. But one of the reasons that I guest hosted for Pam this fall, is because I'm launching my own podcast in January. And And so I'm super excited about that. It's going to be released every other week, starting the third week of January on Tuesdays. And that first week that we launch, so the third week of January, we are going to launch with 5 episodes. So we're going to have a new episode every day of that week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then we'll go to every other week on Tuesdays from that point on. So if we have it on Tuesdays, I can tell you a little bit about the new podcast episode and remind you to listen to it and share it with your friends. And I'm super, let's see, Carrie. I'm going to come, is it Carrie or Will? Do you go by Carrie? I'm going to come back to that question in a minute. But I'm super excited. So it's going to be, the podcast is going to have the same name as my site, the same name as this Facebook page, Raising Lifelong Learners. And we're going to talk all about how to do that. We're going to talk with people who homeschool, people who traditional school, people who have a variety of different types of things going on with their kids. We're going to talk about how they encourage a lifelong love of learning with their kids, how they encourage them to pursue passions, what kinds of cool things families and kids are doing all around to help inspire you and to inspire me. And then we're also going to talk to the kids themselves, which will be fun for the last few minutes of each podcast. And then some of the podcasts will be me talking to my kids with about topics that you guys have for them. So super excited about that. But if we can move the Facebook Lives to Tuesdays, then we can talk about those things each week as well. And then I'm free on Tuesdays. I have nothing at this point that goes on Tuesdays. So we can talk for as long or as short as we want. And if we have an episode like this with no lights, we can always regroup. Okay, I'm going to come back. So Carrie, Carrie, you say your son's anxiety is debilitating and you were hoping to hear more about how I've helped my kids. Okay, so let me talk about that for a few minutes. I haven't completely and totally myself. So I tried. I don't know how old your son is, but my son, when we first realized that he struggled with anxiety, he was like 5. We started suspecting, and by 6, when he was going to school, things got really tough and behaviors would spike. His anxiety tends to manifest itself in anger and perfectionism and frustration and like complete shutting down or meltdowns. And so at that point, he was 6 or 6.5, we sought professional help. We saw a couple psychologists, actually. One was quick to label him with ADHD, and I don't doubt that he might have ADHD. I suspect, and so did the last 2 psychologists, that he really just struggles with impulsivity due to his giftedness and his IQ and overexcitabilities that go with that. But regardless, he has impulsivity issues and still does. But the first one wasn't a fit. We found, and there are various reasons for that. And I'm happy to talk to you via private message about some of that. But the second one was okay, but he wasn't going to be a long-term solution. He was shifting offices and it wasn't going to be a fit for us. The third one was amazing. She had 2 profoundly gifted sons of her own who were grown. She had an intense interest in spectrum disorders as well as giftedness and the correlations oftentimes seen between the 2. And she was really attuned from the get-go. And so I would say, first of all, therapy is really good for kids with anxiety. Really, really good. It's not a sign of failure. It is a sign of strength, actually. If you are worried about it, professional help does wonders, but the right kind of professional help. So you want to make sure, if you don't feel right, like if there's something in your gut that doesn't feel right, or you don't feel that it's a great, a great match for you, not to be afraid to try it a couple times with that person and then find somebody else. Ask around, ask your pediatrician, ask your friend's pediatrician, ask friends of friends, ask in Facebook groups if people live in your area and see anybody who specializes with gifted kids or intense kids or kids with anxiety, and try to find somebody who's good, first and foremost. Anxiety is something that can be treated and can be helped with, but oftentimes parents are too close and they need extra help. So we are where we are today at 15 because he saw a therapist for a really long time. He doesn't see her right this minute, but he's gone back in recent years and months and may go back again in the coming months. We kind of go, now that he's older, based on his what he feels he needs. My 8-year-old is going to be starting to see her soon, for the same reasons. We also do a lot of talking. Actually, I don't know if you're going to be able to see him. But I'm in my group. Okay, so Conscious Discipline. This is it's a program for classrooms. It's a good book. It's by Dr. Becky Bailey. I can't find it. Okay, and it's about feelings. It's about recognizing feelings. There's a post on my site about feeling buddies, and that was so Dr. Bailey developed kind of a not a home program based off of her Conscious Discipline book, with these little, I don't know, for lack of a better term, stuffed animals, but they look like little people with weird faces that have all the emotions on their faces. And there's a little board book. It's upstairs with the feeling buddies, so I don't have that handy. But it teaches kids to do the self-talk, to recognize the feelings, to acknowledge them, to validate them, and then to solve problems related to those feelings. Managing Emotional I'm so bad at this. Managing Emotional Mayhem by Dr. Becky Bailey is another good one. And this right here gives you scripts to talk to your kids about what they're feeling, and managing it in that way. We also have played games about anxiety, they're not about anxiety per se, but about feelings and emotions. So we can talk about them and identify them. I try. Okay. I can't say I never do, because I'm totally fallible. And I get frustrated, and I am a very real parent, who has hormones and cycles and gets frustrated herself sometimes. I try really hard not to invalidate feelings and get frustrated with feelings, but sometimes I do. So when I am on my game, I will say things like, looks like you're not feeling right. Are you feeling frustrated? Are you feeling angry? Did you want to talk about it? What can we do to identify what you're feeling? And we try to identify the feelings first, and then we talk about what we can do. Hey, it is totally okay to feel the way you're feeling. It is okay to be angry. It is okay to be frustrated. It is okay to be scared and anxious. Let's talk about what's going to happen when we go wherever we're going. And then we talk it through. They're kind of like social stories that school psychologists or social workers do with kids, where they're kind of like helping to put them in the place of where they're going so they can talk it through and see what it's going to be like when they get there. There was another book I just had. Okay, so I've been cleaning. I was telling my friend yesterday. Oh, there it is. Hold on. I'm going to go grab it. I'm tripping over my cords. I was telling my friend yesterday that I was kind of rage cleaning yesterday. My house is immaculate. It's so organized. Now I have to remember where I put everything. This is my favorite book. Dan Peters, PhD. There are 2 books. We have them both. The other one's upstairs. So this one you see is For Warriors. From Warrior to Warrior, A Guide to Conquering Your Fears. This is a book for kids. Now, it's heavy reading. Like, it's not heavy reading. They enjoy reading it. But my daughter can't read that on her own, so we read it together. But he has a companion book that is Make Your Warrior a Warrior, and it's for parents. So Parents of Warriors or something it says on the top. We have both, and I recommend both. But it talks about how to help your kid turn those worries around. It's not, the worry, it's the monster. I can't remember. I think that's what you call it. Yeah, I think that's what it is, the worry monster. He's not playing tricks, but trying to get you, kind of off. I'm butchering it. Really worth the read. So look into that one. Does that help, Carrie? Tell you what, feel free to PM me or DM me, whatever it's called on Facebook, PM, private message, direct message, whatever. And I'll get back to you with some more recommendations tonight. Or actually anybody can do that too. You can always, my page is set up so you can ask questions directly to my page. You don't have to do it via private message. So you can go to write a post, and you can just say, hey, my kid struggles with XYZ. Do you have any good resources for that? And then other readers can chime in as well as I can chime in too. So you can leave these questions on the page as well. So Carrie, I'll drop some more links for you too. Okay. All right. So it has been 51 minutes, and the last half an hour has been in the dark. So I appreciate you sticking around with me, and those of you who have, and I'm sorry, I will try to get this figured out for next week. Have a good week, and I'll check back in on this thread. You can still share it, and I'll tell you more about my podcast as we get going with it. So thanks again for spending some time with me. I really appreciate it. I'm going to go pour another cup of coffee. I hope you guys too. Take care of yourself. Do whatever it is that brings you joy. And put that oxygen mask on for yourself first in these coming weeks as you're leading into Advent and everything else. It's really, really, really important that you take care of yourself so you can take care of those kids. Okay? Have a great week. I will talk to you soon.